Yo, boxing aficionados. What's up? What's going on? Check this out, man. I've been wanting to make this video for quite a while, and you're going to have to excuse me if I don't get my thoughts, all in a row as quickly as I would like. But the subject is Teofilmo Lopez. Teofilmo Lopez, he wants to be a pay-per-view star. He wants to be a boxing superstar. He wants to be an attraction along the lines of Pacquiao, Mayweather, Canelo. You get my gist. So the thing with Teofilmo Lopez is that Teofilmo Lopez does not have a built-in fan base. It'd be a lot easier if Teofilmo Lopez were to be Puerto Rican or Mexican, right? Because if he were Mexican, he could just trot out some mariachis, wave a Mexican flag, put on an elite level performance against a quality opponent, and boom, voila, superstar, right? If he were Puerto Rican, he could fight on every June during the Puerto Rican parade and wave a Puerto Rican flag and make a few trips to Puerto Rico, and boom, superstar. That's what happened to Miguel Cotto, by the way. So the thing is about Teofilmo Lopez is that being Honduran, which is it's not a very large community in the United States, and it's not a very economically prosperous community, the ones that are here, puts him at a disadvantage, because you could say, Filipinos, Manny Pacquiao's in his Filipino fan base. There's not as many Filipinos in the United States as there are Mexicans or Puerto Ricans, but the Filipinos that are here are economically well off. They are educated people for the most part. They run healthcare, and they either they practically run healthcare in the United States, and they're gonna buy his pay-per-views every time he fights. He can count on at least 400,000 pay-per-views being sold. I mean, he sold about 350,000 pay-per-views just fighting Jesse Vargas on a fight that wasn't even promoted by HBO. So that's neither here nor there. How do you make Teofilmo Lopez a superstar, right? Teofilmo Lopez needs to focus on exposure and performance, right? Exposure and performance. And I think that the young man was a little naive to think that one win over Lomachenko, who himself is not a pay-per-view superstar or a bankable superstar, that one win over Lomachenko was going to catapult him into, another stratosphere, So I think that was a little short-sighted on his behalf. So the thing is about Teofilmo Lopez is that the same negatives that can be viewed as detrimental in him becoming a pay-per-view superstar, i.e. his non-affiliation to a traditional boxing pay-per-view buying public like Puerto Rican or Mexican, is that he can appeal to all Latinos. He can appeal to all Latinos because he has no natural enemies. Let's face it, a lot of Mexicans resent Puerto Ricans, a lot of Puerto Ricans resent Mexicans, and that's why they make such big fights when they fight each other. But absent of that, if you can appeal to all Latinos just on the basis of being Latino, you can be a really, really big superstar. And that's the comparison I would like to make between him and Roberto Duran. Roberto Duran, like Teofilmo Lopez, had no traditional, natural American fan base. There wasn't a lot of Panamanians in the United States, right? There was a bunch of Puerto Ricans, and there was Mexicans, and there was Cubans, there was Dominicans. But what Roberto Duran did, especially at that time, fighting out of New York City and Madison Square Garden, thereabouts, is that he was able to appeal to South America as a whole, including the Caribbean, right? Because of his bravura, because of his machismo, because of his unapologetic Latinicity. Yeah, I'm going to make up my own words. It's okay. It's my own words. I'll get y'all all a dictionary to figure out what I'm saying. So the thing about him is that, he superseded all that, Everybody can get behind him. He made all Latinos feel good about being Latino. And at the time in the United States, Latinos were going, the same ghettos, South Bronx, Lower East Side, going through the same strife that African Americans went through. We shared the same neighborhoods, went through the same experiences, lived in the same tenements. And Roberto Duran gave everyone a chance to feel proud to be Latino, right? And yeah, man. So Teofilmo Lopez can tap into that if he were to wisen up and focus on exposure and performance. He didn't need to focus on fake notoriety, right? Fake notoriety. For example, his name was really hot for a minute, earlier this year when he forced Top Rank to go into a purse bid, right? He forced it. He felt that he was being underpaid. But that move was very short-sighted. I know a lot of people want to argue this, but the proof is in the pudding. The move was short-sighted because he didn't understand his value, number one. And he also didn't understand the value of the event. And he didn't understand how to build himself up to be a star, to use the vehicle that ESPN was providing for him. ESPN Top Rank. He didn't know how to use it. He went for the short money. So you have to go back to that time, like what was going on. We were in the pandemic. When that fight went to purse bid, or Cambosos even became a suggestion for Teofilmo Lopez as being his next opponent, right? We were in the middle of a pandemic. At that time, a fight between him and Cambosos in the United States has no value. It probably had more value if they would have done it straight ahead by April, settle in, don't go to purse bid, put it in a bubble, and what you would have gotten is the $1.5 million that we're going to pay you, but you would have gotten exposure, more exposure. Look, the guy who beat Lomachenko's back on the screen. Let's tune in. Let's see if he knocks this guy out. And you get Cambosos out the way. Now, you would have fought in April. Lomachenko would have fought now when he fought, and now you guys would have, done pay-per-view and cash in on your notoriety. You build things, you build fights, you build your you build your image. I don't know, you build the event. Because right now, for Teofilmo Lopez, he's an event-driven fighter. He's not a fan-base-driven fighter. In other words, he can't just get in the ring and automatically count on, a fan base, a feverish fan base who's going to follow him anywhere. Because, like I said, he's not Puerto Rican and he's not Mexican. So the thing is that those around him, his team, Top Rank, knows this. They know this. They know that you're an event-driven fighter. Now you put a few performances together, you knock out Kambosos, you come back and you get Lomachenko out of the way, and you do it even better than you did before, and perhaps stop him. Now you got 3 events in a row. You got your first win against Lomachenko, which is a big deal. Almost 5 million people saw that. You have Kambosos, you got him disposed of him. He was your man, though. You got $1.5 million, and you build towards possibly an October event against Lomachenko. And then you do the thing again. You do your thing again. That's how you become a superstar. But as he's come to find out now, taking the short money, now you're out of the ring. Now you've been out of the ring since last October or so. I'm not sure, right? Now you've been out of the ring that long. We're in August. Well, I mean, we're almost in August. It's July now, what? July 27th, right? So we're almost in August. Out of sight, out of mind. You were hot for a minute when you went to purse bid, but you were hot because you went to purse bid and you took Top Rank to purse bid, and it was a big deal because you fingered at, you waved your middle finger at Bob Arum, and it was a big deal. But that excitement passed. That excitement passed, and what do you have? You have an event that had to be moved from June 5th to June 15th or whatever. And then you got COVID positive. You end up signing again with Top Rank for a better deal, yes. But you still have the Kambosos thing to deal with. And now your event has been sold in order for it to make money where it can make money, which was Australia. If Australia would have been in play way back in March and April and May, March and, right. If Australia would have been in play way back in March when, with all this purse bid stuff was going on, if Australia would have been in play, you wouldn't have gone to purse bid because the fight is worth more money in Australia. Now you've gone from celebrating your little $4 million to possibly being underpaid in Australia. And I'm diverting from the point. The point is that if you want to become a superstar, you focus on doing superstar things and you focus on connecting to the Latino community. You get yourself a tutor, a Spanish tutor. You speak Spanish 24 hours a day. Read it and write it and work on that skill so that when you give an interview, you don't fluff your words like Danny Garcia. you have to be able to speak from the heart, to the Latino community, and on Spanish, a los golpes show, make appearances on Univision, and be comfortable in appearing in Spanish talk shows. That's the work you have to do. That's how you become a star. Oh man, Teofilmo Lopez, yeah, ese tipo pelea. Oh, yo, ese tipo es de pinga. That's what you want to be said. Maybe, I don't know. What is it? The Spanish Grammys, the Latin Grammys. Make an appearance there with your beautiful wife, and maybe hand a Latin Grammy off to somebody, and be able to introduce them in Spanish comfortably. You understand? And by all means, get in the ring often, incredible fights, and put on a performance. That's how you become a superstar. That's what Roberto Duran did. Nah, he didn't do the Latin Grammy thing, but guess what? One of the things that people don't understand about Roberto Duran is that he used to hang out with the founding of All-Stars. Roberto Duran used to sing salsa, used to be in Latin clubs all the time in New York City. He was, he was a salsa head, like he loved it. And he was in all the salsa clubs, salsa concerts, was always up on stage. And that's part of the reason that he was able to cross over and be loved by Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, and Cubans, and Mexicans alike. Because he represented us. And I would like to do a video on Roberto Duran and the fight that actually made him a superstar against Ken Buchanan, and why he became a superstar because of that fight. But that's a video for another day. But the thing is that the same thing that is detrimental for Teofilmo Lopez, meaning not having a natural Puerto Rican or Mexican fan base, is also the same thing it's also the thing that he can use to his advantage, because he has no natural enemies. But he has to focus on exposure and performance. And quite frankly, right now, I don't know if the kid is one thing is to be the hunter, and another thing is to be the hunted. And right now he's the hunted from Lomachenko. I believe he can beat Lomachenko again. But how focused is he this time around? A lot going on. He got into bed with Triller. They were all his friends, and now they are on opposite sides of a legal matter. He was at odds with Top Rank, and now he signed with Top Rank, and now they're on the same side of a legal matter against Triller. He's got a kid coming, got married, got Cambodia. They want him to fight in Australia. It's a lot going on. It's a whirlwind. What you're going to do? Are you going to have to drop that IBF belt after you work so hard for it? You beat Richard Comey? So I'm not sure that the kid is as focused as when he was just the hunter. So it's a big test for how he handles his business moving forward. Anyway, I wish him the best. He should focus on his metaphysical existence, which he knows so much of, the positive affirmations and like a champ and the things that he says. And he's a very positive kid, man. But he's got to put his naivety in his back pocket and let the people who know how to build stars and superstars and pay-per-view stars do what they do. It is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. Next level boxing talk, all right? Peace, I'm out.